Why do we do anything that we do? Besides biological programming to eat, stay warm, and procreate, we're conditioned by our cultural surroundings to believe certain perspectives to be true. Then we act as if they are accurate and proceed to get the results that such beliefs and actions lead to. So from where, fundamentally, do we get our beliefs? It used to be that religion was the primary source of beliefs, and then science was added, and now corporate and government media propaganda machines are taking over. I found a striking correlation among a sampling of humanity's premier cosmologists and cultural historians regarding how ways of viewing the world developed over the millennia it took to get where we are today. Arthur Young's arc of process begins with pure potential, boundless light. An initial spark of purpose experiences the pushes and pulls, the binding of subatomic forces. Then the intention achieves identity as an atom, establishing an inside distinct for the first time from an outside. These atoms learn combination as they join into molecules, which in turn learn to sustain temperature and become plants, which are able to create growth, but cannot themselves move around. Then the monad, or spark of consciousness, achieves mobility as it learns to slither, walk, or run, or fly around as animals. Finally, in this octave, consciousness achieves the ability, as humans, to reflect on itself and the process of evolution of which it is a part. Young calls this dominion. Each of the 7 stages has 7 substages. The predictability of the powers of each stage allow us to use the model to see where humanity is in the evolution of our consciousness and what we need to learn next in order to survive, to stay in the game, and to thrive. The human level shows us to be in the 4th stage and 4th level, the condition of maximum contraction and risk. In the arc of our human substages, our current phase mirrors where the molecule is in the overall evolution. The molecule had to learn to balance ambient energy, inside and out, in order to maintain temperature. And all life as we know it has stood on the shoulders of this remarkable accomplishment. We, in turn, are at a stage where evolution has happened to us. We just got born into this condition, and here we are, at risk of extinction at the hands of our own technology and immaturity. What we need to do is to learn how to balance ambient energy in our bodies, emotions, and minds, as well as interpersonally and organizationally, and with our environment. If we succeed in learning this, humanity can make the turn and consciously participate in our own evolution, building a society of peace, prosperity, and exploration. Dwayne Elgin traces a similar octave of maturing from the shallow survival consciousness of the hunter-gatherers through the agricultural, then industrial, and communication eras into stages of global bonding, creativity, and finally the integral awareness stage of planetary scale wisdom. He represents this process as the evolution of a mature toroidal dynamic of inclusive consciousness. He describes, like Young, that in order to make the turn, we need to master what he calls reconciliation, learning to live in harmonious balance within and among ourselves and with the planet. Philosopher Ken Wilber outlines in his integral model a similar 8-stage map, an octave of viewing how life evolves for both individuals and their cultural groupings. As Wilber said, this is not a single-step process, it is at least a 7-step process. There are at least 7 fulcrums, he said, 7 massive paradigm shifts involved in getting you to a realization of this world soul. Claire Graves' Spiral Dynamics Integral, further developed by Don Beck, is another octave model that describes a hierarchy of memes or ways of thinking from the beige survivalistic all the way up to the turquoise holistic. They point out that the value system of each stage leads to different behavior among individuals and groups. According to spiral dynamics, each of the stages is inevitable and can't be bypassed in the process of individual human development. Philosopher Ashok Gangadin has described the 7 stages of what he calls deep dialogue, of how we evolve in our ability to encounter one another. These grow from isolation to communion, from fearful separation to a joyous realization of interconnection. Business consultant Richard Barrett recognizes an octave model of levels of personal consciousness for corporate organizational transformation. This system tracks motivation from survival and relationships up through making a difference and service. So what's the value of all these perspectives? For me, it's getting that many of our most brilliant thinkers have come to virtually the same octave model for our own path of sustainable evolution. And by paying attention to the map, we can better chart a thriving journey.